100 years ago, Chatsworth would be smaller. I think it would be smaller.
Well, I think the classroom was very old.
Kids were excited to go to a new building.
There weren't as many cars. There were mostly just buggies.
They had like really strict rules.
100 years ago, no one had a fleece jacket.
I think the classrooms were little. That's all. I think.
They dressed in uniforms and there weren't a lot of cars.
100 years ago, Chatsworth was brand new.
Chatsworth Avenue School graduated its first class in 1903. And for 100 years, we've had great teachers, amazing students, and dedicated principals. I'm Jane Hand, the 9th principal of Chatsworth Avenue School, and I'm very proud to be celebrating this centennial with you. In September of 1902, the Larchmont School, as it was called, opened its doors. The stately 4-classroom building was intended for the children of the few residents who lived year-round in the village. 100 years ago, the village of Larchmont was primarily a summer playground for the wealthy of New York City. Beautiful homes rose along Manor Beach, and during the summer, local businesses boomed. Before long, the 4-classroom school building was too small.
This is the original schoolhouse, and it was built with the idea that it would be capable of holding all the students for 10 years. But within 2 years' time, they needed to build 12 more rooms. The population had exploded.
By 1930, the school had become known as the Chatsworth Avenue School, and it was time to expand again. A new wing was built on Forest Park Avenue. When Chatsworth first opened, 3 houses stood on what is now the basketball courts and running track. Peggy Collins' family lived in one of them.
None of this playground was here. There were 3 homes on this playground, on this school ground. My house, my parents' house, was the first. The second was the singing teacher in the school, and the third was an empty house. So when they had fire drills, they used to have to come into the backyard because the school ground wasn't big enough. That's when they decided that the school ground had to be made bigger and the houses had to go. And that was it.
The last house was moved around the corner to Larchmont Avenue in 1983. Until then, the playground was made of cinders and dirt, but that never stopped anyone from having fun. The same is true today.
Hey now, you're an all-star, get your game on, go play. Hey now, you're a rock star, get the show on, get paid. And all that glitters is gold. Only shooting stars break the mold.
100 years ago at Chatsworth, kids had to sit in their desks the whole day.
We never had anything in a round or any groupings for reading, or they're all in a row. Always, all 6 grades. But that was in the day when you sat according to your ability. With the smartest kid was here, and then it went on down the line, and you knew the dumbest kid was over there.
Perfect penmanship was expected even in 1st grade, and kids weren't allowed to write with their left hands.
No, I was left-handed, and in those days they made you write Palmer method with your right hand, which was really good because now I'm ambidextrous and I can write really with either hand.
Kids were graded on handwriting, plus a whole lot more.
Inattentive, wastes time, whispers too much, careless, indifferent, plays fair, respects authority. Respects authority, I had X's all the way across. I was a good girl.
By the shores of Gitche Gumee, by the shining Dixie water.
Today's classrooms look less structured, but there's a whole lot of learning going on.
Come inside.
Now, where would that be under?
Years ago, kids at Chatsworth got to go home for their lunch.
The children did not have lunch in school as they do now. Most children went home.
Today, 3 shifts are needed to accommodate the 600 students who eat lunch at Chatsworth Avenue School. There's also pizza day, lunch with Lou, lunchtime chess, and Lunchables.
100 years ago, kids couldn't wear what they wanted to school, like now.
Some kids wore knickers and were greatly embarrassed by it. I remember kidding kids with knickers, and I never wore them.
We didn't wear slacks and that kind of thing. You wore skirts and dresses. But we did wear snow pants. And my horror was snow pants. I thought they were awful. And another girl and I used to take our snow pants off and hide them in the bushes till we went home. Pick them up and put them back on.
Until the 1970s, girls couldn't wear pants, and neither could their teachers.
Women always wore skirts, heels, jackets, or they were dressed in dresses. Men were always in a tie and shirt and jacket and pants, and the children were dressed similarly.
Today's clothes are all about comfort.
Years ago, kids had kindergarten in the same room I do.
I say, if you look in there, you can see all those wood blocks and everything in there. You see where they got them? And that's the way they had all those wood blocks and everything when I was a kid. And that just about brought tears to my eyes, because that brought back so many memories.
Kids today are still just as excited about their first experience at Chatsworth.
States of America.
You must have been a beautiful baby. You must have been a wonderful child. When you were only starting to go to kindergarten, I bet you drove the little boys wild. And
I think my fondest memory of kindergarten was every time when we'd be let out, like, for recess. We'd go out through this sort of back door into a little courtyard, this little place where everyone would sort of be in their own world and be playing all these games or whatever you did at recess. Just that space was very safe and warm, and it was a great environment.
Since 1903, thousands of children have passed through the doors of the little neighborhood school that began with just 4 rooms. Generations of the same family have sat in the same classrooms and played on the same playground.
We graduated from Chatsworth. So did our dad.
So did our aunt. So did our uncle.
My mom, my uncles, and my aunts went to Chatsworth.
Our dad went to Chatsworth.
Our mom and aunts went to Chatsworth.
My mom, my grandfather, my great aunt, and my aunts and uncles went to Chatsworth.
My mom, my grandma, my great aunts and uncles, and my aunts went to Chatsworth.
We are family. I've got all my sisters with me.
I love every minute of having my children come to school the same place that I did. I love coming here in the morning. I love dropping them off. I love seeing the familiar faces.
My dad went to Chatsworth. My dad went to Chatsworth. My mom, aunts, uncles went to Chatsworth.
Our mom went to Chatsworth.
My mom, my aunt, my uncle, and my grandma went to Chatsworth.
I knew it was time to retire when, in my last class, I had the daughter of a child who was in my first class at Chatsworth. And that was coming full circle.
Much has changed in the past 100 years, but the most important thing has remained the same. This is a very special place to go to school.
If you travel all over the world and come back, it's a beautiful place to grow up and a beautiful school to go to.
My teachers were through and through just fabulous people, and I still remember them like it was yesterday.
It's just been a very joyous place to teach in.
There was always a nice balance between tradition and innovation.
How many people have memories in their minds right now, and these people are scattered all around the world and remember this school.
We come to you, untutored minds, with smiles as bright as gold. We enter into Chatsworth stores and a brave new world unfolds. A world of music, books and art, and places we've never been. Within these walls, a miracle that lights us far within. The bricks are old, the floors are stuck, but there's magic in the air. A love of learning fills each room, and there's laughter everywhere. We gather in the playground yard, eager for the day to begin. Within these walls, a miracle that lights us far within. So many memories, how much we've grown. The love we find at Chatsworth makes us feel at home. It's here we learn to read and write, and here we learn to share. It's here we learn arithmetic, and here we learn to care. We learn that if we all have fun, then all of us will win. Within these walls, a miracle that lights us far within. The teachers fill our world with love and help us thrive and grow. The principal and all the staff we love to trust and know. The band is marching from the stage, the sound of violins. Within these walls, a miracle that lights us far within. So many memories, such joyous days. A tapestry is woven from friends that never fray. And when it's time for us to go, a piece of us remains. And though we're ready to move on, we will never be the same. The doors are always open wide, beckoning us in. Within these walls, a miracle that lights us far, like a torch in the dark that lights us far within. Happy birthday, Chatsworth!
2, 3, 4.
Everybody's doing a brand new dance now. Come on, baby, do the locomotion. You'll get to like it if you give it a chance now. Come on, baby, do the locomotion. Little baby sister can do it with ease. It's easier than learning your ABC. So come on, do the locomotion with me.
Swing to the right.
And swing your hips now. Come on, baby. Jump up, jump back.
Mrs. Hand is really nice. You can count on her for anything. That's all I know.